We're live? I think we're live, people! Hey, everybody, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 here, and welcome to another edition of the Linux Coffee House. I will get started in just a few minutes, people, but first, housekeeping. If you enjoy these live streams just as much as I do, then smash that like button, ring-a-ding that notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Before we get started, I just want to say, I apologize for not pushing any Linux content out this week. I've just been terribly busy with the StormOS team. Some things with the distro came up. But good news, folks, we got a lot of those problems fixed, and we are now working on the, next, we're gonna be working on version 3 very soon. Version 2 is pretty much done for the most part. And you will be hearing about version 2 most likely at the Linux Saloon tonight at 7 p.m. Or is it 8 p.m.? No, it's 8 p.m. actually, yeah. But anyway, you'll be hearing about you'll be getting a StormOS report at the saloon tonight, so keep a lookout for that. But yeah, once again, I apologize for not being on top of my YouTube schedule as I should. I really need to set a reminder or something to help me get better at that. But anyway, nobody's perfect, so oh well. What can you do? Anyway, this is the first Linux report that I've done for in quite a long time. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. So, what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to give it a few minutes, and then we will get started. So... Right. But no, folks, as you can pretty much see here, I got Veronix all up and ready to go for us. I will be I will be making some new content, Linux content for you guys very soon. I did have a Linux history shorties all ready to go, that me and Ben did, but I accidentally deleted it, so we got to redo that all over again. So expect a Linux history shorties on Linux from scratch to be coming very soon, as well as a video showcasing what setup I got on my mid 2012 MacBook Pro. So yeah, I made a couple changes to my MacBook since you guys last saw it. One change in particular is I changed a lot of the theming of my Debian 12 setup. As well as I upgraded my Mac OS to Mac OS Monterey. I am dual booting on my MacBook Pro still, so. I did try Sonoma, but Sonoma did not work out. My MacBook did not like it, so me and Ben thought it was best to, with how old this mid 2012 MacBook Pro's hardware is, me and him thought it was best to just put it on Monterey and just keep it there. So that's what we're doing. Okay. Ah, okay. to make sure everything is good. Everything appears to be fine. Nice. And by the way, folks, in case you're wondering, mm, mm, in case you guys are wondering, why my Debian 12 setup looks just a little bit different, and instead of making the video, I might as well just give you a tiny preview of what I've done to it. Basically, folks, I took a lot of the theming and customizations that were in the Arch version of StormOS, and I pretty much applied all that theming and stuff to my Debian 12 setup. So, for all intents and purposes, my Debian 12 looks a lot like StormOS now. Basically, from the wallpaper, from one of the wallpapers I use to the transparency of the bar and everything. I even got the Grub customizer and made my own Grub screen. So, woohoo, did that. Other than that, for all intents and purposes, my Debian 12 is basically looking like StormOS. I even pretty much, when I was using the Grub customizer, I changed, the Grub screen. I changed the Grub screen's name from Debian GNU/Linux to basically what I'm now calling it StormOS Debian Edition. So that's pretty much its name going forward. I don't plan to make an ISO. If you all are wondering, I have no intention of making an ISO with this setup or anything like that. This is basically become like a passion project of mine, a hobby project. So don't expect me to crank out, a StormOS Debian Edition ISO anytime soon. It ain't gonna happen. Me and Ben are pretty much happy, with having, an Arch version, and a Gen 2 version is going to be coming soon. So keep a lookout for that. So 2 versions is enough. We don't need 3. But I will actually be making a video this upcoming Tuesday showcasing to you all a bit more details, sorry, about my StormOS Debian Edition setup that I've done to Debian 12 Bookworm. So keep a lookout for that Tuesday, as well as Linux History Shorties, Linux from Scratch. So that's what's going to be coming Tuesday. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough, folks, so what do you say we get to what you all came here for? Let's start the Linux Coffee House, but first coffee. Alright. Let's look on Phoronix, and we will find a good article, and it seems I found one right away. Okay, our first article of the Linux Coffee House, and as per usual, I read 5 articles for you guys. Wine 9.12 lands rewrite of CMD.exe engine and other improvements. Wine 9.12 is out as the latest bi-weekly development release, and in passing roughly the halfway point before Wine 10.0 stable enters the sites for early 2025. Wine 9.12 introduces a rewrite of the CMD.exe engine by code weavers to address multiple outstanding bugs for how the prior CMD.exe implementation had been interpreting commands. The new CMD.exe implementation appears to be handling more commands properly. Wine 9.12 also adds initial support for user32 data structures within shared memory, updates against the Mono 9.12 engine, fixes handling of async IO status in WoW 64 mode, and there are 24 known bug fixes. The bug fixes range from window border issues being resolved to problems with Assassin's Creed and other games. Downloads and more details on the Wine 9.12 changes via winehq.org. And what we're going to do, folks, is go to our next news article. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I found one. Alright, our next article for the Linux Coffee House, GNOME 47 can now be built with X11 support disabled. Last week, the GNOME 47 development code saw Wayland DRM lease protocol support for enhancing VR headset handling, and separately was also accent color support for GNOME Shell. Adding the recent slew of changes landing for GNOME 47, the GNOME Shell and Mutter code can now be successfully compiled optionally without any X11 support or requiring any X11 build dependencies. For those wanting to build a Wayland-only Linux desktop experience without carrying any aging X11 baggage, GNOME 47 will be able to optionally offer Wayland-only support without carrying X11 Xorg support. This Mutter merge request landed today as that allows compiling Mutter with X11 support disabled. That landing today along with this GNOME Shell merge request for being able to disable X11 support too. In turn, this closes a 2-year-old issue tracker over making X11 dependencies optional on GNOME. GNOME 47 is shaping up to be a very exciting desktop release due for release in September, and will be found with the likes of Fedora 41 and Ubuntu 24.10. And with that, folks, that is pretty much it for our second article for the Linux Coffee House. Let's move on to the third article of the Linux Coffee House. Okay, Pipewire 1.2 released with async processing, exploit sync, and other features. Pipewire 1.2 was christened today as the latest major release update to this solution common to the modern Linux desktop for managing audio and video streams. Pipewire 1.2 brings many new features like async processing and exploit sync support, snap package processing support, streaming to Snapcast servers for multi-room audio, and many other additions. The just released Pipewire 1.2 announcement sums up the major changes in this new version as, and you guys can pretty much read this for yourselves. I'll leave it here for a few seconds, so if you want to read it, feel free to. And here's the rest of it as well. And it says down here, Pipewire 1.2 looks like a great update for H2 2024 Linux desktop distributions. And that's pretty much it, folks, for our third article for the Linux Coffee House. Let's go on to the fourth article of the Linux Coffee House. Don't care about that. You check the live chat before I get to the third article. Yep, everything looks fine. Good. Okay, Intel Battlemage PCI IDs being added to Linux 6.11 for Xe kernel graphics driver. sent out on Wednesday were the latest set of DRM XE Next changes of the last round of feature updates for this XE kernel graphics driver, targeting the upcoming Linux 6.11 cycle. DRM Next code for Linux 6.11 has already been seeing preparations for the XE2 based Battlemage discrete graphics cards, such as Battlemage display support being recently queued up for being able to drive displays via DP HDMI. With this week's DRM XE Next pull request, the Intel Battlemage PCI device IDs are being added to the driver. The new Battlemage BMG device IDs initially being added to the XE driver for Linux 6.11 are 0xE202, 0xE20B, OC, OD, 12. Just making it shorter, by the way. 5 device IDs for now, but not much to read into that in terms of the expected product count for Battlemage due to the possibility of some IDs being reserved for engineering models. Potentially, but currently unplanned SKUs and all the other initial caveats around device IDs, we could also see more device IDs added in future versions of the kernel. And if you all want to pause and read this part, feel free to, folks. And with that, we are down to our final news article of the Linux Coffee House. But before I get to that, I just want to say one thing. If you enjoy these live streams just as much as I do, then smash that like button, ring-a-ding that notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. And with that, folks, let's get to the final and last article of the Linux Coffee House. And then we are going to be wrapping things up. And I just found a good one right here. AMD's Advanced Media Framework promotes RADV support. AMD today published version 1.4.34 of its Advanced Media Framework SDK. This accelerated multimedia framework is used on Linux and Windows for integrating with games and applications, leveraging DirectX, OpenGL, and OpenCL, with interoperability support for Radeon GPU customers. The AMD AMF 1.4.34 release improves its Linux support in that its basic DRV code simple and now be built on Linux. Additionally, the RADV driver support has been promoted. Back in January, with the prior release, they have added experimental RADV driver support with AMF 1.4.34. The RADV driver for AMD on Linux are now considered stable for video encoding, scaling, and video conversion. However, the video decode support with the RADV driver is still considered experimental. Excuse me. The AMF 1.4.34 release also includes a new HEVC header insertion mode and other updates. Downloads and more details on these changes via GPU Open's GitHub. And with that, folks, we have made it to our final article of the Linux Coffee House. I think it's as good as time ever to start wrapping things up here. I thank you all so much for watching, so much for coming. If you enjoy these live streams just as much as I do, then smash that like button, ring-a-ding that notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Just remember, folks, 2 videos are going to be released Tuesday. Linux History Shorties Linux from Scratch, and also my new mid-2012 MacBook Pro Debian setup. So keep a lookout for that. And just letting you all know, me and Ben will be on the Linux Saloon tonight. So keep a lookout for that as well. But anyway, folks, I'm gonna head up on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, so much for coming, and until next time, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 saying see you later. Phew. We're done. We're done.